What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Thomas Dolby. And we're going back to his 1982 album, The Golden Age of Wireless. And we're up to the tune, The Wreck of the Fairchild, or is it just Wreck of the Fairchild? I'm going to wait to look as she just cocooned herself on my lap. But either way, The Wreck or Wreck of the Fairchild, it sounds like a reference to a sea disaster and perhaps going asunder of some ship, but I don't know a particular story of a capsizing or of a vessel being lost and maybe people drowning with the name Fairchild. So whether that's a historical reference or a literary reference, in the moment I can't think of it. If you do know what this, or if it's in reference to something specifically, like something pre-existing the tune, do let me know. But yeah, even if it is beyond my specific knowledge, as I said, it sounds like a shipwreck, and perhaps it'll be a narrative, maybe in the sense of, maybe not, identical, but in a similar way that Iron Maiden's Rime of the Ancient Mariner is a story about a disaster befalling a ship, admittedly, a preternatural one, and not so much the ship itself breaking apart or going under. But yeah, I wonder whether it might be a story about the way in which a ship called the Fairchild ended up being a wreck. Now, to be fair, sometimes wreck in relation to a ship is specifically used when it goes aground but not at its intended destination. It's sort of a shipwreck on an island. So, there could be a dimension beyond just the sea. Maybe it has nothing to do with a ship or a shipwreck in the first place, and the use of the word wreck and Fairchild have nothing to do with anything nautical. So I feel like it is more likely that it references some form of nautical disaster, but like I said, I don't know of any specifically by that name, so it might very well be something else. Well, let's find out. This is Thomas Dolby from the Golden Age of Wireless album 1982, and the track is The Wreck of the Fairchild.
Whiskey Zulu Torre.
What? Hello?
Whiskey Zulu Torre. Aparato en dificultades. Pido permiso inmediato de aterrizaje.
Why are you messing with me, Thomas? So it just goes in and out?
Whiskey Zulu Torre, tratando de nivelar. Imposible
So it's
visibilidad.
like
Motor no responde. Cambio.
It's like a distress signal, or someone trying to hail a vessel that is not responding, in Russian, seemingly. Yeah, I love it.
Llamando base. Repito, 15 minutos de combustible. Inminente. Base Cóndor a Whiskey Zulu. Permiso denegado. Cambio y fuera. Motor no funciona. Motor 1 bajado, por favor. Base Cóndor a Whiskey Zulu.
The synth work, very sparing. The bass is motoring along, and then boom, here we go.
Eres demasiado bajo. No creo que lo podamos soportar. Control Whiskey Zulu. Calma.
So we're getting all sorts of different languages, but the delivery of them sounds Russian or so basically not a true instrumental. We hear voices, but like it doesn't sound like it has sung lyrics at this point. Timing can be fun like that. bass just motoring up there. This part just sounds vintage 80s in the best way. Okay, so yeah, trying to unpack. I mean, those samples, I guess. I suppose they could be vocals, created to give the sound of a broadcast by some, Coast Guard agency, which again, it sounded like it was Russian. But then they were speaking a number of languages, because again, if you're hailing someone, a ship that you don't know, like, is there anyone on board? Is anyone alive? Like, if there's no clear indication, you try hailing them in a number of different languages. So it felt like that kind of thing. So it felt likely, as I was thinking, related to some sort of sea-based or ship-based disaster. Not clear what, though. And again, it essentially was an instrumental, and then right as I was opening my big mouth and saying, well, we just had those samples, not really any sung vocals, boom, we get a sung vocal. But that was very isolated. It didn't continue, for the next minute and a half, 2 minutes. So essentially it felt like an instrumental tune. So yeah, hard to know what to make of it. It does seem related to a ship-related incident, if not overt disaster. I wonder whether those recordings, could have been taken from, at the very least, a dramatization of some event. Like I said, if not history, then literature or perhaps in a film. But either way, a really interesting track. Like I said, vintage 80s vibes, especially in those real dancey parts, which had that synth rock sort of feel. But then also some really interesting sonic choices in general, and then specifically at the end, the way it, I don't know, sort of ghostly and just essentially phased out of existence, seemingly like rolling with some percussion, perhaps straight into the next tune. But yeah, even the end of the track was a really surprising and charismatic bit. So yeah, really cool tune. As I said, one of the earlier reactions, I've heard a lot about this guy's music through people's opinions and insights that I've come to very much value. So looking forward to diving deeper into it. I know it hasn't been one of the most regular deep dives. Gonna try to be a little more frequent with it, because again, there's more than just this album on offer. So once again, shout out to Han Solo for making this available. Do let me know what you think of this one, and I apologize, Luca, but we're gonna move you over here. Relatively harmless. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Peace.